In a small village, surrounded by thick forests and flowing rivers, lived a young girl named Amara. She was gentle, kind, and beautiful, with a heart that shone even brighter than her eyes. But Amara's life had not been easy. Her mother died when she was still a child, leaving her in the care of her father, Mazi Okerie. At first, Mazi Okerie did everything he could to raise his only daughter with love. But as time went on, the weight of loneliness pressed heavily upon him. The whispers of the village urged him to remarry, and eventually, he brought home a new wife named Mama Adaeze. To the villagers, Mama Adaeze was the perfect wife, gentle in speech, generous to strangers, always with a smile when others were watching. But behind closed doors, when the smiles faded, she became something else entirely. From the first day she entered the house, Mama Adaeze turned Amara into a servant. "Amara," she snapped one morning, tossing a broom into her hands, "sweep the yard before the sun rises. Then fetch water, cook, wash, and make sure my children's clothes are spotless. You are old enough to work." Her own children, Chijioke and Adaeze, sat comfortably as their sister labored. They laughed as she moved from one chore to another. When food was prepared, Mama Adaeze served her children the best, piping hot yam pottage, steaming soup, tender meat. Amara received only scraps, the cold leftovers no one wanted. "Eat quickly," Mama Adaeze would say, her voice laced with cruelty. "Do not waste food. Be grateful you are given anything at all." Amara's heart ached, but she swallowed her pain. She could not bring herself to complain to her father. Mazi Okerie, though a good man, was often away working in the farmlands or visiting other villages. He rarely saw what truly happened at home. To him, Mama Adaeze was still the kind woman everyone else praised. Still, Amara hoped. She believed that one day the truth would come to light. As the moon waxed and waned, life continued. But one night, everything changed. The village was quiet, the wind soft against the trees, when Amara lay down on her thin mat to sleep. But just as her eyes began to close, she heard it, a sound outside her window. At first, she thought it was the rustling of leaves. But then she heard it again, low voices chanting in rhythm. Her body stiffened. Carefully, she rose and tiptoed to the window. Her eyes widened. Outside in the courtyard stood 6 women, all wrapped in black wrappers. The moonlight glinted against their eyes as they circled slowly, chanting words Amara did not understand. In the center of the circle stood Mama Adaeze. Amara's heart raced as she pressed her face to the wooden frame. Then one of the women spoke. "It is time," the voice said, sharp and cold. "Another soul must be given." Amara's breath caught in her throat. Her stepmother raised her hand. "I will bring my husband," she declared. "Mazi Okerie will be the one." Amara nearly gasped aloud. Her father? Her kind father? She had to warn him. She turned quickly, meaning to run into his room, but her foot pressed against a dry leaf on the floor. Crack! The sound split the silence. The women stopped chanting. Their heads turned toward the window. Mama Adaeze's eyes narrowed. Someone is listening. Before Amara could move, her stepmother rushed toward her with frightening speed. The women's chanting rose again, faster, sharper. Amara tried to run, but Mama Adaeze's hand clamped around her arm. "You think you can betray me?" she hissed. "You think you can reveal what you have seen?" Amara's mouth opened, but before a sound escaped, the world grew dark. Her body twisted, bent, and shrank. The ground seemed to rise, or was it her body falling? Her arms and legs became heavy, her voice caught in her throat, her cry turned into a low, desperate moo. Amara staggered, her wide eyes reflecting the moonlight. She was no longer human, she had been turned into a cow. The grasses around her looked taller, the world larger. Her stepmother's cruel smile widened. "Perfect," Mama Adaeze whispered. "Now you will never speak." The next morning, Mazi Okerie rose early, calling for his daughter. "Amara," he shouted, "where are you? Come help me prepare for the day." Silence. He searched the compound but could not find her. Mama Adaeze appeared, tying her wrapper neatly. "Amara has gone to fetch firewood," she said calmly. "She will return later." But Amara was not fetching firewood. Bound with a rope around her neck, she was dragged toward the market. Mama Adaeze's children skipped along happily, laughing at the cow that stumbled behind. At the crowded market, Mama Adaeze raised her voice. "Come, buyers! A strong cow for sale. Only 60,000 naira." But the villagers shook their heads. The cow looked strange, too thin, too wild. No one offered to buy. Hours passed, until finally a wealthy man arrived. He studied the cow carefully, then nodded. "I will take it. Tomorrow, I will hold a great feast, and this cow will be the center of it." Amara's heart sank. She wanted to scream, but all that left her throat was a weak moo. The man dragged her home, tied her in the compound, and went inside. That night, as the family slept, a small figure crept into the yard. It was Obinna, the man's 12-year-old son. Obinna moved closer to the cow, curiosity in his eyes. Something about this animal seemed different. Then he looked closer. The cow's eyes glistened, not like an animal's, but like a human's, full of sorrow. Obinna's heart pounded. Then, to his shock, he heard a whisper. "Please help me." He stumbled back. Who spoke? "It is me," the cow whispered again. "I am not an animal. I am a girl. My name is Amara. My stepmother cursed me. Please save me." Obinna's mouth fell open. His hands trembled, but something inside told him this was no lie. He leaned close and whispered back, "If anyone can help you, it is Baba Tunde. He is wise in the ways of spirits and curses." Amara's heart leapt with hope for the first time since her transformation. The next morning, Obinna's father ordered the servants to prepare the cow. "Today we feast," he declared. But Obinna ran forward. "Papa, wait. This cow is not ordinary. Please do not kill it. Take it to Baba Tunde. If I am wrong, you may do as you wish afterward. But if I am right, you will understand." The man frowned but looked into his son's pleading eyes. Finally he nodded. "Very well. We will go to Baba Tunde." They untied the cow and led it deep into the forest, where Baba Tunde lived. The old man was waiting by his hut, his staff planted firmly in the ground. His eyes, though clouded with age, glowed with wisdom. "This cow," Baba Tunde said, "is no cow at all." He sprinkled herbs into the air, chanting ancient words. Smoke rose, curling around Amara's body. The ground trembled, the air thickened, and then suddenly, her body shifted. The hooves melted, the face changed, and she collapsed on the ground, once again a human. Amara gasped for breath, tears streaming down her cheeks. I am free. Baba Tunde placed a hand on her shoulder. Child, you must hurry. Within 2 market days, your father's life will be taken if you do not return. Go now and speak the truth. Amara ran back to the village, her heart pounding like a drum. She burst into the compound, dust clinging to her feet, her chest heaving. Her father, Mazi Okerie, rushed out, his face pale and tired. Amara, he cried, almost stumbling as he reached her. Where have you been? I thought I lost you forever. Amara fell into his arms, tears streaming down her face. Papa, she whispered, her voice shaking. It was Mama Adaeze. She cursed me. She wanted to sacrifice you. I saw it with my own eyes. When I tried to speak, she turned me into a cow. Gasps spread across the compound like wildfire. Neighbors who had gathered whispered, their eyes wide with disbelief. Suddenly, Mama Adaeze stormed in, her face flushed with anger, but her voice dripping with false sweetness. Do not listen to her, she shouted. This girl has been bewitched. She is lying to tear this family apart. But Amara stood firm, even though her body trembled. I am not lying, Papa. I saw her with the women in the night. I heard her say your name. She wanted to give your soul away. The noise grew so loud that word quickly reached the palace. The matter was taken before the king of the village. The king sat upon his carved wooden stool, his staff of authority in his hand. The villagers gathered under the great tree, murmuring in low tones. Some looked at Amara with pity, others at Mama Adaeze with suspicion. Amara stepped forward, her hands clasped tightly in front of her. Though her knees shook, her voice rang clear. Great king, she tried to sacrifice my father. She cursed me into a cow to silence me. If not for Obinna and Baba Tunde, I would not be standing here. Mama Adaeze fell to her knees, her eyes darting around in panic. My king, she lies. This child is possessed. Do not believe her. I am innocent. The king's eyes narrowed. He struck his staff against the ground. Bring the water of truth. A hush fell over the crowd as 2 elders brought forth a calabash filled with sacred water. The water shimmered under the sun, known to expose lies wherever they hid. Mama Adaeze's hands trembled as she lifted the calabash. Beads of sweat rolled down her forehead. The crowd leaned closer, breathless with anticipation. She took one sip, then another. Suddenly her body convulsed, her eyes rolling back. She fell to the ground, clutching her chest. Her lips quivered. And then, like a flood, the truth poured out of her mouth. Yes, she cried, her voice breaking. It is true. I wanted to sacrifice him. I cursed her so she would not expose me. Forgive me. Forgive me. The villagers erupted in gasps and cries. Some shook their heads in anger. Others covered their mouths in shock. The king rose to his feet, his face stern. His voice thundered across the gathering. There is no forgiveness for this level of evil. You betrayed your home, your husband, and the gods. You are banished from this land forever. Never return. Mama Adaeze screamed and wailed, but her cries fell on deaf ears. The guards dragged her away, her voice echoing into the distance like a shadow fading into the night. Silence fell. Then all eyes turned to Amara. Mazi Okerie stepped forward, tears welling in his eyes. He pulled his daughter into his arms, holding her tightly as though he would never let her go again. "My child," he whispered, his voice breaking, "forgive me. I failed you. But never again. Never again will I allow anyone to harm you." The villagers surrounded her, some clapping, others singing praises. "The truth has triumphed," they cried. "The gods have exposed the wicked." Amara's heart swelled. For the first time in years, she felt seen, valued, and free. She looked at the people and lifted her voice. "No matter how long evil hides, the truth will always come to light. I stand here as proof." The crowd cheered, their voices rising into the evening sky. From that day, peace returned to Amara's life. The shadow of her stepmother's cruelty lifted, and her father treated her with more love and care than ever before. Even the villagers, who once ignored her suffering, now respected her courage. And Amara never forgot Obinna and Baba Tunde, the two who risked everything to help her. Moral of the story: no matter how powerful lies and wickedness seem, truth and courage will always expose them. Evil may hide in shadows, but it cannot stay hidden forever. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more African folktales filled with wisdom and powerful life lessons. Tell us in the comments, what lesson did you learn from Amara's journey?